We all have that feeling, right? The execution gap. You get an idea, maybe in the shower, or you're stuck in traffic, and it's perfect in your head.
Yeah.
A brilliant app, a new business, little game. But then there's this friction between your brain and the screen.
And that friction is almost always code.
It's code, it's syntax, it's the thousands of dollars you'd need to hire a dev team.
It's the classic technical wall. It's where most great ideas go to die.
Right. And usually on this show, when we talk about AI, we're talking about tools that help you climb that wall. You know, they're like assistants.
Or librarians.
But the guide we're looking at today, it covers Manus AI 1.6 Max. Makes a much bolder claim. It says the wall is just gone.
It is a bold assertion. But looking at this, the shift is very real. We're moving from AI as a consultant to AI as a contractor, and that distinction is everything.
I want to drill down on that right away because consultant implies advice, but contractor, that implies labor. What's the real difference here?
Well, think about ChatGPT or Claude. They're text engines, right? So if you say, I want a pet grooming app, they act like a consultant. They'll say, okay, here's a recipe, here's a block of Python code, good luck. They hand you the blueprint, but you still have to pour the concrete. You have to compile it, host it, debug it.
And the contractor.
The contractor, Manus AI. It has file system access. It creates the directory. It writes the index.html. It writes the CSS. It spins up the server. It doesn't just tell you how to build a website.
It just builds it.
It builds the website.
Precisely. It's the difference between asking for a recipe and asking a chef to put the meal on your table.
So that's the promise. But I want to test the reality. The guide lays out this whole journey, starting with a pretty simple app, then a game, then some deep market research, and then a full business launch. So let's start with that first stress test. The local business, Happy Paws.
Right, Happy Paws. The local pet grooming service. Now, traditionally, building a booking app for a local dog groomer is a total nightmare of logistics. You're managing freelancers, you're worrying about server costs.
It's months of work, minimum.
So in this case study, what was the input? What did they tell it to do?
It was a single paragraph of just plain English. The prompt was basically, build a fully functioning mobile app for Happy Paws. Use soft blue and white colors. List services like dog wash and nail trim. Oh, and add a booking page and a map placeholder.
Okay, but I have to be the skeptic here. I can ask an image generator to make a picture of an app, and it'll look pretty, but it doesn't do anything.
Is this just a really good mock-up, or is it actual software?
That is the aha moment in the guide. A little window pops up, a preview pane, and it's live. You can click the Book Now button. It actually takes you to a confirmation screen. The guide even notes the AI included a mobile view icon so you can see exactly how it feels on a phone.
Does this actually result in usable software or just a mock-up?
It creates real functioning technology you can use immediately. You could run the business off it 5 minutes later. That's significant. But an appointment app, it's useful, but it's kind of static. It's forms and buttons. I want to see if this thing can handle real complexity, like state management.
Yeah.
Physics. The guide moves on to a game next, right?
Space Dodger.
Space Dodger. Okay. A browser game. This feels like a proper stress test. Moving from pure utility to entertainment.
It is. They really wanted to see if Manus AI could handle the fun factor. So they asked for a game inspired by Dino Run. Really simple concept. You're a rocket, asteroids fly from right to left, and you just don't crash.
And again, a simple prompt.
Super simple. Rocket moves up and down, asteroids come from the right, keep score, and bam, it built it. But here's where it gets really interesting for anyone who's ever tried to code a game with an LLM.
The dreaded context window product.
Exactly. Usually you build version 1 and it works. Then you say, okay, now make the asteroids faster. The AI rewrites the code, but it forgets how the rocket moves.
Or it breaks the collision detection. Yeah.
It's like playing Jenga. You pull one block out and the whole tower just collapses.
So how did Manus handle that, the iteration?
The guide calls it conversational iteration. The user just typed, make it more challenging. Every 10 seconds, make the asteroids move 20% faster. Also change the background from blue to black as it gets harder.
And it didn't break the original movement logic?
Not at all. It understood the existing code base it had just created. It just injected a timer function and a speed variable multiplier without touching the core rendering loop. The code updated in real time.
So the coding happens dynamically during the conversation?
Exactly. You just keep talking, and the software mutates to match what you want. It treats the code like a living project, not some disposable text snippet.
Let's pivot to something that I think plagues a lot of us. It's not always the coding that stops an idea. It's just the chaos of the process.
The research rabbit hole.
I have to admit, I still wrestle with this. I call it prompt drift. You start researching a market, and, 3 hours later, you have 50 tabs open, you've completely lost the thread, and now you're reading about the history of coffee beans.
It's cognitive overload,
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And Manus AI seems to tackle this with a specific feature, automating deep market research. The example they used was for a healthy snack subscription box called Green Bites.
Okay, green bites. So how does the AI handle that research any differently than me just Googling for 3 hours?
It brings structure to the chaos. The prompt actually asked for a spreadsheet. It said, conduct a deep competitive analysis. I need a spreadsheet with multiple tabs. Tab 1, top 10 competitors and their prices. Tab 2, target audience analysis.
Right, but usually if I ask an AI for competitor prices, it either hallucinates or it gives me data from 2021 because that's when its training data cuts off.
Right. But Manus has a live browser agent, so it goes out to the live web right now. It checks the current pricing on the competitor websites.
And the output, is it just a wall of text?
This is the cool part. It rendered a functional spreadsheet UI right there inside the chat. Rows, columns, tabs, you could sort it. It looks just like Excel or Google Sheets.
That's a huge workflow change. I'm always copying and pasting into a separate document.
It removed that whole copy-paste tax. It formatted the live data perfectly. It even identified gaps in the market. For Green Bites, it pointed out that nobody was offering a low-sugar option specifically for office workers.
How does it link the research to the strategy?
It remembers the context, using the spreadsheet data to inform the plan automatically. The user just said, okay, use that data to build me a go-to-market plan.
It just remembers the spreadsheet.
It remembers everything. So it looked at the competitor pricing in that spreadsheet. Let's say the average was $35. And it automatically suggested a penetration price of $28 a month for Green Bites.
So it didn't just guess a number, it calculated a strategy based on the research it had just done.
Exactly. It linked the raw data to a strategic decision without the human having to connect all the dots.
Okay, let's talk visuals. Because a business needs a brand, and honestly, AI image generation has been, well, it's been hit or miss, especially with text.
Oh, the alien text struggle is real, yeah.
You ask for a sign that says coffee, and you get covfefe or some weird hieroglyphic.
Right. But Manus AI has this feature they call Magic Edit. And honestly, whoa. It is a bit of a game changer for design.
And the example was for Greenbyte's marketing assets, the Instagram posts.
Right. So they asked for a close-up of a vegan cookie with the text 100% plant power. Simple enough.
Yep.
And the AI generates it, looks great. But then the user decides, you know what, plant power is a bit generic, let's change it. Now, in Midjourney or DALL-E, if you change the prompt, you get a completely new image. The cookie looks different, the lighting's all wrong.
You lose all the consistency.
Exactly. But with Manus, you click a button that says Edit Text, you type Power Your Morning, and the AI swaps the text inside the image while keeping the cookie, the lighting, everything else exactly the same.
Is this basically Photoshop inside the chat?
It's a visual editor that understands text inside images perfectly. No more re-rolling the dice.
That solves so many workflow headaches. Okay, so we've built the app, the game, done the research, the strategy, the visuals. Now for the big one, the mega prompt.
The indoor jungle.
I love this example. It shows the sheer scale of what's possible here. They wanted to launch an entire education business and indoor gardening course. And instead of doing it piece by piece,
They asked for everything at once. The audacity of this prompt. They asked for 4 distinct things. A course outline with 4 modules, a 5-email launch sequence, a 30-minute sales webinar outline, and 10 blog post titles, all at once.
that's a week's worth of work for a human copywriter. How long did it take?
About 10 to 12 minutes, which, yeah, is longer than a typical chat response, but it produced a whole business in a box.
And normally an AI would just choke on that. It would time out or give you 4 short generic paragraphs.
Right. But because Manus works in the background, it generated these really detailed, deep assets for all 4 deliverables.
But the killer feature for me, it's the interconnectivity that turned into website button.
Yes, this is it. So it writes the webinar outline, just text. The user highlights that text, selects turn to website, and boom, instantly it renders a registration landing page connected to the site builder based on that text.
It actually parses the meaning of the text.
Yes, it sees introduction, so it makes a hero header. It sees key learning points, so it creates a bulleted list section. It interprets the meaning of the text and translates it directly into design elements.
That's the end of the lorem ipsum placeholder. You're designing with real content from day one.
It's totally seamless.
can you customize the website after it's generated?
Yes, and again, it's just natural language. You don't have to touch any CSS. You just tell the chat, make the background a lighter mint green or make that headline bigger, and it just updates.
The recurring theme here seems to be about flow, about removing all the little points of friction between I want this and here it is.
Absolutely. It's just compressing the time between your intent and the final execution. Sponsor. We are back on the deep dive, exploring Manus AI 1.6 Max. We've walked through the examples, Happy Paws, Space Dodger, Green Bytes. It's all very impressive. But I want to ground this for our listeners who might be thinking, okay, I already pay for ChatGPT Plus. Do I really need this? It's the million-dollar question, right? And the guide has a really helpful comparison table that kind of visualizes the whole thing. It really boils down to three main differences.
Okay, let's run through them. The first one is the role.
Right. Consultant versus contractor. We touched on this.
Yeah.
ChatGPT talks, Manus builds. If you want advice, you get a consultant. If you want a house built, you get a contractor.
Second is workflow.
Disconnected versus connected. With the standard LLMs, you are the clipboard. You copy the text, you paste it into Word, you paste the code into your editor. You're the glue holding the entire process together.
And with Manus.
With Manus, the data is all synced. The research talks to the strategy, which talks to the website builder. You aren't the glue anymore. You're the architect.
And the third one.
Editing. It's start over versus visual editing. That ability to just tweak the text on that cookie image or change the game difficulty without having to scrap the whole thing and start from scratch, it turns generation into iteration. And iteration is where good products actually come from.
It really feels like we are seeing the complete removal of that technical wall we talked about.
That's the conclusion the source draws, and I have to agree. For decades, I don't know how to code was a perfectly valid reason not to start something. It was a real tangible barrier.
And now,
That barrier is gone. It's just evaporated. The only limit now is your imagination.
you know, as we wrap this up, I'm struck by a thought. We spent years, a decade really, telling people, learn to code. It was the golden ticket.
It was the literacy of the 21st century,
Yep.
for sure.
But looking at this, it feels like the definition of literacy is changing. It's not about speaking the machine's language anymore. It's about speaking your language clearly enough that the machine understands.
It shifts the premium from how to what. If the cost of building something drops to near zero, the value of a truly unique idea goes through the roof.
So it democratizes the build, but it meritocratizes the idea.
I love that. That's perfect.
Okay.
It puts the focus back on human creativity and taste and strategy.
So for the listener who's sitting there, maybe with that idea they had in the shower this morning, what's the first step?
The move is to just start. The guide encourages you to use the free credits. You don't have to build the next Facebook today. Just build a portfolio. Build a silly game for your kids.
Just get your hands dirty with it.
Yes. Because once you see your own words turn into a real thing, once you type "make the rocket fly" and the rocket actually flies, you will never look at technology the same way again. It fundamentally changes your relationship with the machine.
I think that is the perfect place to leave it. The wall is down, the tools are here, the rest is up to you. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.
Go build something cool.